Welcome back to the channel. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and roll your notifications to all so you don't miss any of the demonic content. What is Dominionism? In a nutshell, Dominionism is the notion that Christians should hold central roles in governance and steer a country towards a biblical understanding of law. While there are many forms of Dominionism within the United States, I'm primarily interested in the ones that involve demons. In this three-part series, I'm going to focus on C. Peter Wagner's work Dominion, How Kingdom Action Can Change the World, and some of the effects of the Seven Mountain Mandate in the United States. C. Peter Wagner publishes Dominion in 2008. If we're trying to think of a kind of rough timeline of events in New Apostolic Reformation Dominionism, that would mean that Wagner is publishing before Wagner popularizes the Seven Mountain Mandate with his contribution to invading Babylon in 2013. However, it is clearly not published before Wagner gets his hands on the idea and starts to spread the notion of the mandate. Wagner is credited as the individual who introduces Wagner to the Seven Mountains in Dominion. If we're trying to imagine a relationship between Wagner's work in invading Babylon and Wagner's work in Dominion, I would suggest that it's the same relationship on some level between a kind of cheerleader's call and response, something that really jazzes up the crowd and directs their attention, versus a strategic business plan that lays out directions and goals. In the opening of his work, Wagner attempts to make his goals clear. Contrary to what some believe, Wagner claims he does not want a theocracy. Rather, he's comfortable with what he understands to be the democratic foundations of the United States. This presents as something of an incomplete understanding in the text. For example, Wagner claims, quote, "If a majority feels that heterosexual marriage is the best choice for a happy and prosperous society, those in the minority who disagree should conform, not because they live in a theocracy, but because they live in a democracy," end quote. This, of course, overlooks a lot of issues like entrenched legal precedent, representational elements of democracy, constitutional foundations, etc. From here, Wagner goes on to discuss a message he believes he received from God, a message contained in a graphic. This graphic contains a kind of abstract of what Wagner is going to talk about in the book. In his view, the social transformation that he seeks is predicated on workplace apostles. Now, a workplace apostle for Wagner is someone who sees his or her vocation as not just a job, but also as a kind of personal ministry. According to Wagner, workplace apostles are those who recognize that, quote, "the people of God are not only the church on Sundays, they're the church 7 days a week. There's a form of the church in the workplace, and that church has a foundation of apostles and prophets." It's important to note here that when Wagner uses the term church, he is sort of meaning not the technical church body, but a group of sort of all true believers. True believers for Wagner are those who have committed to the ideas behind the Second Apostolic Age, a sort of idea that Wagner has of the return of prophets and apostles to the world. These agents then spread the church in two directions. The first direction cements the church in the workplace. Essentially, these workplace apostles proselytize their views to those they work with and spread the message of the Second Apostolic Age. In the second direction, they facilitate what Wagner identifies as the great transfer of wealth. Now, it's easy to mistake this for the great wealth transfer that some economists have spoken about in the news. An idea that there's going to sort of be an intergenerational shift in assets that could amount to trillions of dollars as baby boomers and the silent generation pass away and bequeath their wealth to their children or charitable groups. That's not what Wagner is talking about here. Wagner is instead referring to the idea that wealth is going to supernaturally begin shifting towards Christians as they accept the notions undergirding Wagner's Second Apostolic Age and begin to do battle with the spirit of poverty, a demon that is keeping wealth from Christians. As Wagner puts it, quote, "the spirit of poverty is a demonic agent of Satan, intent on preventing people from enjoying God-given prosperity." Lording over the land in which all of these transformations occur are the cosmic powers. Wagner describes them thusly. Quote, "both of these are arenas directly related to spiritual warfare. Satan has polluted the land and cursed it. Satan has deployed high-ranking demonic powers to darken the spiritual atmosphere over society and to block the freedom of heaven flowing to earth. To sum up, demons are holding the world hostage. Now, this isn't shocking for this type of theology. For most third-wave believers, demons are sort of an omnipresent force, the sine qua non of their theology regarding action in the world. And given Wagner's position inside of this movement, it's not that surprising that he's imagining that the greatest force of resistance to his ideas in the world will be demonic in nature. What is surprising is what Wagner advocates doing to accomplish this goal of dominion, as well as his reliance on the controversial figure of R.J. Rushdoony to structure what these goals look like. These two elements are what makes Wagner's work truly terrifying.